Well, we're going to have to start again because we were just cut off because we were playing that song and we're not allowed to play the whole song. Wow. Hopefully you'll all come back. Hello, everybody. Oh, my God, that is so sad. So this is what happened because I was playing a song that I guess I don't have the copyright to play. They cut me off. Instagram. Can't play a song, I guess. It's very sad for all those people that have just joined and missed that dancing bit because I'm going to do it again. And now I'm all blah because I've just been cut off by Instagram. It's very sad. I know it's a copyright thing, but you're not allowed to play. I guess you're not allowed to play someone else's song on the Instagram. But anyway, we'll have to start again. For those of you who missed that, I want you to know that I did play this song, and I'm just going to put on the first minute of it, just so that you don't miss out completely, because it's, yeah, we're gone, and it won't be on the recording either, because it's like gone. Do you think I'm going to get cut off again if I play it again? We'll see. I'm just going to play the beginning because I feel sorry for all of you people who missed it. So good morning, everyone. Again, happy Friday. You missed the whole dancing bit, which we did, and we were cut off because we played too much of the song. But this is what I played to sing Hallelujah. Hallelujah, because we've reached 50 lockdown sessions, and we were all having a big dance, and we were cut off by Instagram because, I guess, breach of copyright. That's all I can say. This was it. But no, we're done. Well, that didn't work. That was supposed to be like a dramatic close the iPad and end the song. But anyway, all right, let's start cooking. Let me just put these in the oven because I'm going to be a step ahead of you. Just bear with me. All right, good morning, everybody. Well, that was a very dramatic start to the morning, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, for those who have just joined us, and there are quite a few who have just joined us, we were having a good old dance in the kitchen, like truly a good old dance, like we were at a club, like we were somewhere having a great time. And then, just when we were getting into it, cut, finished, gone, shut down, breach of copyright. So anyway, we're back again. Hello everyone, and happy 50th to all of us who have been in this together. This is lockdown session number 50. Honestly, I don't understand how we've done 50. It doesn't make any sense to me that we've done so many. It seems like such a huge number, but we have. We've cooked 50 times together. Anyway, it's very exciting. I'm going to do a giveaway in a minute, but before I do that, we're going to start cooking, okay? So for those of you who are just here for the giveaway, I'm sorry, you're going to have to stay a little bit longer. I'm not going to be so kind as to tell you now, okay? You've got to stick with me. We're going to get these babies in the oven, and then I'm going to tell you about the giveaway, okay? Good morning, everyone, and let's get cooking. I'm so happy to have so many of you with me today. So today we are making suhariki or suhariki, however you want to pronounce them. They are from our very first book, and they are probably my top 10 recipes of all time. I know that is a big call, but I make them and they are just irresistible, beyond irresistible. I'll tell you about the recipe a bit later because I want to, and I'll tell you quickly now. It comes from, it's got such a beautiful story. So my friend Sharon Hendler, who's in our first book, who happens to live next door to me, she gave us this recipe, and the story goes like this. She used to have a play group for her, one of her kids with a group of girls, one of which was my other friend, Vikki. And Vikki used to bring along to play group these biscuits called Souhariki, these little lovely biscuits, and the girls used to eat them, and they wanted the recipe so much so that Vikki asked her grandmother, known as Nanny Rahil, to come in and give them all a lesson in how to make these biscuits, which she did, and they all, I don't know if they all learnt to make them, but I do know that Sharon learnt to make them. And when we were looking for recipes for the first book, I was speaking to Sharon about it, and she said, what about these ones? Or maybe I said, what about these ones? Because I think I'd eaten them. And so she gave me the recipe. And the recipe comes from Nanny Rahil, who was born in Harbin, China. So her parents came from Russia, thereabouts, and like many of the Jewish families in that time, they moved to Harbin, China, because that's where the railway went. And they lived there, and they ended up in Shanghai, like so many in that Jewish community. And when she moved to Shanghai to raise a family from Harbin, and she grew up, she had a best friend who used to make these biscuits, and she got the recipe from her best friend who was of Russian heritage. And someone said earlier, I think on the original post, that they had a similar recipe from someone from the Ukraine. So it's definitely a recipe from that part of the world, and this is her version. Of course, recipes change over time. I was talking to Vikki this morning. I just wanted to brush up on the family history a little bit. And she said it's not quite exactly the same because Nanny Rahil never had measurements. Back in the day, they didn't have measurements. They did a handful of this, a handful of that, make a dough until it feels right. Yeah, so Sharon recreated her version of it, and this is the recipe we have now, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's start cooking. What you're going to need as follows is a big mixing bowl. I always like bigger bowls than you're going to need. Don't get a little bowl and then mix it and it falls out. You've got to have a generous bowl for whatever you're making. I'm going to go through the ingredients. We're going to need a whisk and a baking tray like this, lined with baking paper or silicone mat or whatever you like. And, oh, we got stuck again. Thank you. I'm just going to get the baking paper, which I forgot. So I'm just going to put some baking paper. Now, the recipe says in the book, and says here, what I posted on Instagram, that it makes 50 biscuits. It's actually wrong. Depends on what size your biscuits are, but the size that I make them, which I'll show you, it actually makes 100 biscuits. So what you could do is make the dough, as we're going to do now, put half in the fridge or the freezer for another day, or make them all. You'll actually find once you start eating them, you'll eat 5 at a time, so they'll go pretty quickly, even 100 biscuits. Nice gift as well for neighbours and friends. So, all right, let's talk ingredients. We need 2 eggs. Okay, can you make this in the stand mixer, Melanie? Sure you can. You sure you can, but there's just no need to, but yes you can, and use the whisk attachment, okay? I'm going to do it by hand, not to show you my amazing strength or how far my muscles have come in this lockdown kitchen, but because there's just no need to do it in the stand mixer, okay? We're not whisking till frothy or anything like that. It's just whisking to combine and start to dissolve the sugar. So 2 eggs, 1 cup of caster sugar, 3/4 of a cup of oil. I am using grapeseed oil for this one. You can use light olive oil, will work. I really like this grapeseed oil. It's from the supermarket. It's Azalea brand. There's another brand at the supermarket called Monin that I just don't like for whatever reason, personal preference. I do like the grapeseed. Simon Johnson sell this beautiful grapeseed oil from France that is a bit more expensive and is absolutely divine and would be lovely in these biscuits as well. But honestly, I find that supermarket brand works perfectly. If you've got safflower, sunflower, canola, they'll all work fine as well. All right, ingredients. We're up to 2 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, which you know by now I never measure. We're going to just tip in and guess. The recipe says, and I didn't want to change it, 1 handful of sultanas and 1 handful of slivered almonds. And you may say, well, what the hell's a handful, Lisa? What does that mean? And you know what? It means whatever you want. Put more, put less, whatever you like. It's fine. This is a slivered almond. They've been blanched, the skin's off, and they are cut into these nice little slivers. All right? Yeah, Maureen, I'm glad you agree with me about the Monin brand. It's just got a yucky taste. Danny vegetable oil. That's exactly right. An unflavoured oil. But you've got to still like the taste of it, okay? Not that you want to eat oil, but if you don't like the taste of it, you're not going to like it in your biscuits, okay? Because there's a lot of oil in these biscuits. No grapeseed oil in the supermarket. Sometimes that's true. People like rice bran, not my favourite, but you know. And then we need flour. We need 1.5 cups or 225 grams of self-raising and plain. And what we're going to do, I'm going to start with the flour. I've put them in a big bowl because we have to combine them. I don't want to put them in one at a time. I'd hate the plain flour to get well mixed and the self-raising not to get as well mixed into the dough. And the way to solve that problem is to put them in a bowl with a whisk. You can sieve them together as well. There's no need for lightness here. That's not what we need. We just need them to be really well combined. So I'm just using a whisk, which we're going to use anyway, and a bowl. Okay, this is just my 2 flours, okay, and yeah, mixing them together. 225 grams of plain and 225 grams of self-raising. Oh yes, Muffy's making it with slivered pistachio. Yum. Any slivered nut would be great. Good to see you here. I don't know Muffy's. Is it Muffy yes or Muppies? That's what I don't know. I've known Muffy's for a long time on social media, years and years actually, since we both started together on Instagram. I think 1,000 million years ago. All right, here we go. That's done. Into my bowl, into my big mixing bowl, okay? Yeah, it's a good question, Mogs. Why did old-fashioned sieves go out of favour? Because you get RSI on your hand from doing that motion. It's quite hard. It's much easier to put it into a colander with a wooden spoon to sift things. But I've got one in my drawer. I just don't use it. That is a really nice idea to soak the sultanas in masala. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. It's a good idea. Yeah, I'll just call you Muppy. I will do that. But there is an S on the end, okay? So, you know, when I read out your Instagram, do I say Muppy S or Muppies? Is that a good question? All right, so good morning. You've just joined us. We are making suhariki, which are a type of biscotti that come from, I'm going to say they come from Russia or thereabouts. Okay, so I'm whisking my eggs together, because I don't want to chuck my sugar on my eggs and then keep talking, and then the yolks will get that grainy thing, which you know I don't like. We're putting in the sugar with the eggs, okay, and giving it a whisk. And the recipe just says to put everything in together, but I do like to do it step by step. And then I'm going to add my vanilla, 2 teaspoons, so quite a lot of vanilla. I'm using this beautiful Nielsen Massey from Simon Johnson that I absolutely love. 2 teaspoons of it. This is the best vanilla that I've ever tasted, and it's have I got the thing? No, I've only got the big one, but they do obviously sell normal sizes, but I buy the giant one, which is fantastic. It's called Nielsen Massey Madagascar Bourbon Vanilla Bean Paste, and you could drink it from the bottle. It's so good. Try drinking the supermarket vanilla that you buy and tell me if you like it. That's the other thing. It's an interesting exercise. All right. No, Melanie, I did not separate the eggs. They just go in. And I'm just whisking it together. It's nicely combined. Nothing complicated. Just whisking it to start the sugar dissolving and to get the eggs well combined. And now I'm going to add the oil. So I've put everything in except for the flour and except for the fruit and nuts, okay? Just eggs, sugar, vanilla, and oil, okay? And soon we're going to put the whisk away and change to a wooden spoon, okay? I've been thinking a lot about how you really need different kitchen implements for different jobs. Like, you can't use a silicone spatula for a job that needs muscle, that has a stiff batter, because it just won't cut it. You can't use a wooden spoon to get all the batter out of a bowl. You need a spatula. And you can't use either of them to get some lightness and to combine ingredients. You need a whisk. So I guess the 3 important things I can't live without is a whisk, a wooden spoon, and of course my trusty spatulas. I just bought a new batch. Actually, I went on to Peters of Kensington website. Actually, I was buying something. Oh yeah, those cupcake liners, and I bought these chasseur ones. I love them. They're my favourite. Not sponsored, just love them. Okay, so now we're going to add in a handful of sultanas. Okay, if you love sultanas, put in a bigger. I mean, don't put in too much, because you'll see when you cut them and the sultanas get in the way, they tend to crack. So I'm going to put in a handful, and I'm not weighing it because I want something to be, you know, reminiscent of the old world where there were no measurements. Okay, so we can just be relaxed and chilled about it. Again, same amount of slivered almonds in. That's it. And give that a mix. Now we just add in the flour, and that's it, and there's our dough, okay? So I'm going to put in about 1/3 of the flour. See, I've got my mixture, my flour, and just give it a mix in. You know, it's just hard to add everything at once. It just makes it harder to mix, and you have to work really hard, okay? Give it a mix, all the flour's becoming part of the dough. And now I'm going to put in the next third again. Dry cherries would be lovely. Dry anything would be lovely, actually. These biscuits are so versatile in what you can put in them, but I do love the classic sultana and almond, I must say. I already ate 4 this morning. I ate the ends. Don't you think that the ends don't count? Does anyone agree with me on that? Like when you pick the, you know, you've baked something and you've got the end of the cake or the end of the thing, and you nibble that and you think it doesn't really count, it's just the end, right? Problem is, when you eat ends all day, they sadly add up. Okay, I've put in the rest of the flour, and remember my flours are combined, so I don't have to worry about uneven mixing or whatever. And I'm just making a lovely dough. I'm not working it too hard, but the wooden spoon really does the work. Okay, I'm just mixing it nicely, forms a delicious dough. Yeah, ends are the best bits. I think you all agree with me on that one. And broken things don't count either. It's so true. The end, something falls off, something, an edge, the crust of the toast, it doesn't count. It's nothing. 0 calories in our mind. Sadly, in reality, it's not quite like that. Who can we have a word to about that? It's just not fair. Okay, so, oh yeah, the ends on roasts. I agree with you. Oh, those little fatty bits that fall off and really fry in the oil in the oven are fantastic. Okay, so yeah, everyone loves the ends. I think that anyone who's with me for 50 Instagram cook-along things would like the ends of everything. I think we're the same people. I think that's what I'm realising. Okay, so you can weigh this if you want, which I'm going to do. It just makes it more even, but of course you don't have to. But if you want to weigh it, we're going to divide this mixture into 4. Okay, Fran, if you add more dried fruit, I probably wouldn't add sultanas. You know, you could probably go 1.5 handfuls of dried fruit, but I wouldn't go more. This is not a fruit and nut biscotti, okay? And I think the biscuit might crack a lot when you try to cut it, okay? We are not selling aprons anymore, La Jardiniere 9 at 888. I'm sorry, we have sold out of these aprons, and I don't think we're going to be restocking at this point. Okay, so my dough goes into here. I'm just going to weigh it because I want to just show you. And now, of course, I need my spatula to get it off. And it does look very sticky, but that's okay. You'll see how easy it is to handle, okay? And I'm using my spatula because nothing gets things out of a bowl like a spatula. Oh, see? Just flipped out. There we go. All right. So this is about 1 kilo and a bit. So each log needs to be about 250 grams. So let's just measure 250 grams for one. Okay. So I want to show you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to make them all. You can make that. You know what? Digital scales. Look, every set that I've got is good. The thing that I look for, these are from Coles or Woolworths. These are a supermarket brand, and they're ProPert, and I'm really happy with them. I think they were $20. So just make sure that they've got grams and pounds and ounces, and that you can change it, and that they go up by 1 gram amounts or 2 gram amounts. Okay, why is yours crumbly? How did you measure your oil? How did you measure your flour? Mine is by weight, so it is absolutely precise. Just add a little bit more oil. Perhaps your scales were a little bit, perhaps your cups were a bit generous with the flour. So then we're going to take, I've got my baking sheet here. We're going to take our log and we're going to roll each log. You can see it looks really sticky, but it doesn't stick to your hands. I'm not squishing it. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. I'm keeping it quite light. And don't push it into the bench. All I'm trying to do is shape it into a log, okay? And it sticks if you push it, but I'm not pushing it, okay? This is exactly what it should look like with the correct measurements of everything. And I'm just going to roll it super lightly, okay? And I want it to be 30 centimetres. Best way to tell is have a ruler. I've got 2 rulers in the kitchen always, and I use them as a guide for everything. So I don't guess this, I want it to be right, okay? So that's a 30 centimetre log. I'm going to take it carefully, and you'll get better at this the more you do it, and put it on the, I'll do one more. All right, one more. I'm going to just do a 250. now that I've put my scales away. Yes, Jane, exactly, that you can zero the measurement, that you can put on a bowl and zero it again. I think they all do that though, don't they? But make sure they do. So 250 again. This way your biscuits will be the same size, which I think, it's not essential because we're not, biscuit manufacturers, or we don't have a factory, but you want them to all look nice. So I think to do them the same size is nice. So mine are 250 grams and a bit. Again, rolling it. I didn't oil or flour anything. There's no extra anything. I'm just rolling it to get to 30 centimeters, using my ruler and putting it on my baking tray. Okay. So, and then once it's on the tray, I'm just going to try to make these around the same everything. And I'm going to gently press them down to flatten a bit. See, it's not sticking to my hand. I'm not pressing too hard. I'm not smushing it or smearing it. I'm just using light hands, and that's really important here. Can you use all the fruit and no nuts? The only thing to keep in mind with using fruit and no nuts is that the fruit's very sweet, and your biscuit might end up too sweet. So nuts add a savoury element that I think is really important in a biscuit like this. But yes, of course. But don't put too much dried fruit, that's all I'm saying. Okay, so that's it. I flattened them a little bit. They look more squished down on the camera than they are in real life. And remember, they've got self-raising, so they are going to puff up a bit, and I'm going to put them in the oven for... So did I tell you to preheat the oven? No, I forgot. Okay, so preheat the oven for 20 minutes. Sorry, 20 minutes. Here we go again, people. It's like yesterday. Can't get my words out. I was doing so well with my words today, and now it's gone. What can I say? All right. 180 degrees Celsius. Preheat your oven. Heat it now and keep rolling and put them in. That's the ones I've done ahead. So I'm going to put this in the oven for 20 minutes, okay? 20 minutes, 180, okay? About how thick? Okay, I'll tell you. Width, they're about 4 centimeters, and thickness, they're about 1 centimeter, okay? About 1 centimeter high, about 4 centimeters wide, and they're going in the oven. Hold on a sec. Actually, no, I'm not going to put them in. I'm going to show you these ones. Okay. So, pretend that 20 minutes. Vikki. So Vikki Big's online, and Vikki is the Vikki from the story, and she is the one who is Nanny Rahil's granddaughter who gave us this recipe. You brush yours with egg now. There you go. We don't have any egg brushing in ours at all. That is really interesting. Interesting. Next time we might try that. So you mean before they went in the oven, you brush it with egg? Interesting. Someone left that off the recipe. So this is what they look like after 20 minutes. The recipe says turn the oven down and put them in for another 5 if they're not quite brown enough. But I'm quite happy with how they are. So I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to let them sit for just a few minutes while I tell you about the giveaway, and then I'm going to cut them up and show you step 2. Okay, I want to show you again what they look like when they come out of the oven. Okay, they've spread, they've risen, and they're lovely. Okay, and I'm going to get a chopping board out because I'm going to have to cut them up, and I'm going to get a knife. Hold on a sec. I forgot that as well today. Let me just get a knife and... The thing about these biscuits is, and I might have to just wait a sec, is you've got to time it right to... Does anyone else fling their things over their shoulder like me? I always do that. Okay, I'm going to actually see, because if you leave it too long in between the 2 cooks, there are 2 cooks. There's a first one at 180, and then we're going to turn it down to 110. Then they get too hard and they don't cut well. So you've got to time it right. I've probably been talking now for 5 minutes, so I actually am going to cut them right now. And I'm going to cut them, the recipe says 2 centimetre slices. I'm going to do them, I like them a bit smaller because I eat a lot of them, and I want them to be a bit smaller. I'm using a sharp big knife, okay, and just cutting them now. So remember, don't leave them too long, because they will go too hard and then they crack too much when you cut them. Okay, so it's much better This is, now they're perfect, okay? So I'm cutting these up and you'll see how I'm doing it. I always used to wonder whether it's better with a serrated knife. Yeah, a serrated knife probably is better because it won't crack them as much, okay? So I'm going to change tack now. Okay, I'm going serrated. But see, little bits sometimes fall off, don't worry about it. But you need to move fast once they're ready, okay? So that's it, and you can see I've done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. And then I'm going to cut my other log, okay? These aren't hard like almond bread are hard to slice. These are quite easy, as long as you get them before they're too hard, okay? So just concentrating here, not looking at what you're saying. Okay, so I cooked them for 180. That's my conventional temperature for 20 minutes, okay? And if they're not quite brown enough, these are lovely and golden, then cook them for another 5 minutes and then take them out. Let them sit for a minute or not. See how you go with the slicing. You can see what the aim is, okay? And so I cut, these are actually smaller than the ones from yesterday that I'm going to show you. Sorry, bigger. Let's see how many I made. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. So I've got 35 from half a batch, okay? I'm going to take my baking tray that they came off and I'm going to put them back. See, these are the ends, but they're not ready yet. These are the ends with no calories, and then just put them this way, okay? Sideways, so that they can brown and cook nicely. It's like a traditional biscotti in that it's cooked twice, once as a log and then once as sliced biscuits. And I'm going to put these in. Now you can make these any size you want. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. I'd actually like to make tiny ones. I think that'd be really fun. Like divide the recipe into logs. Now I know I'm doing this in a very awkward way and I would never normally do it. I'm just doing it so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm just laying them face side up, all of them. Yours of course are still in the oven, I'm sorry. We can't do it all in real time today because it will just keep you for too long. And okay, so I'll just keep doing that and I will tell you now while I continue to do that about our giveaway. So because it is the 50th session that we have today, which is just beyond me how we got to 50, like truly beyond me, I thought it would be nice to give away a book. And this is what you have to do. Okay, so to enter to win, firstly you have to make a comment. You have to comment on our post. So I'm going to post the video on Instagram after the session. You know, I always do that. So you'll see comments when this video is on Instagram via Instagram Live. And you need to comment. First you need to tag a friend who you think would like to watch this video. And then you need to tell me why you want a copy of this book. And of course it's this book. Now for something sweet. Okay, you got that? So you need to write on the comment section of this video when it's posted, not now, when it's posted, tag a friend who you think would like this video and tell me why you want to win a copy of this book. I'm sorry this is only open to Australian residents at the moment. I'm sorry people who are away. I apologise overseas. But it's just for Australian people, Australian residents, and that's how you do it. Everyone clear on that? Okay, back to the biscuits. Yeah, you can cut them on an angle if you like. It depends how you want them to look at the end. It's completely up to you. They're lovely on an angle. You could make really narrow logs and cut them on an angle, and that would be absolutely beautiful as well. And these now go in the oven, which we now turn down to 110 degrees Celsius. I'll write the temperatures on the notes on the video as well. 110 for about an hour until they're golden brown. If they're not golden brown, turn them down a bit. You'll see the batch that I did are a little bit light. I didn't go quite far enough yesterday. I'm sorry, Linda. I'm sorry. I feel mean saying that I can't send to you in the USA. It's just too hard at the moment. My courier service won't do it. And so that's why we've made it Australian residents only. Sorry. I do feel bad. Yum. Sultana. Got that? Back in the oven, 110 for 1 hour. And I'll show you now what they look like when they're done and how delicious they are. So the idea of this biscuit is that the first level, the first cook, they need to be cooked through. You don't want to have raw dough at all. So if you think they look very pale, leave them in the logs till they're really well cooked on the outside, which means they'll be cooked on the inside as well. And then the second cook, what it does, the second time in the oven, it dries them out and makes them that beautiful texture that biscotti have, okay? So this is the ones that we made yesterday, and they look really beautiful. Like, have a look. Okay, that's what they look like. That's what they look like. And you can see your, can't see the nuts. Yeah, you can. The nuts are sort of the same colour, but you can see the thing. And they are, and I'd like to crunch an end to show you, but you know, I ate them all this morning for breakfast. So this is, you hear how crunchy they are. I could sit down now, I'm not going to exaggerate, with a cup of tea, and I could probably eat 10 of them. They're just so moreish and so delicious, and I hope yours turn out exactly like this, because this is, you know, shape-wise it doesn't matter. Yours could be wider or smaller or higher, but this is the one. Yes, you could put chocolate in instead of fruit, absolutely. I would always go dark chocolate because I'm not a cooked milk chocolate fan. But dark chocolate and dried fruit is beautiful. Dark chocolate with sultanas would be amazing, and nuts. But just put a little bit in, because remember, if you put too many things in it, they won't slice nicely and you'll find that they'll fall apart. They stay fresh in the jar for ages because they're so dried out, really like a couple of weeks, I think. Not that they ever last that long in my house. So easily a couple of weeks. Vikki, do you freeze them cooked or do you freeze the dough? Because what I was also going to say is you can take this dough now and you can divide it again, put it in the 255 gram bit, wrap it in plastic wrap or a container, and you can refrigerate it for a couple of days or freeze it till you're ready. It's very easy, versatile dough. So Vikki freezes the biscuits cooked. Mine never lasts that long that I need to do that. You could also make the logs and stick them in the freezer and bring it out when you want to slice and bake them. You know, there's lots of ways. It's a very versatile. You could also, that's a great idea. Is it Bexy? I can't see. I've got something on my phone, Bexy 800. To dip one end in dark chocolate would also be lovely. Chocolate would be nice with these. So that's it. They're really good. They're very simple, just easy to make, easy to eat, fantastic for a gift, very hearty. They're not going to crack or break on, you know, giving them around to your friends, giving them to your friends. They're not going to break in the car and the seats. You know those biscuits that are too fragile. These are not those. They're really good. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you do make them, please post a pic and tag us, or send them to me and I'll post the pic for you if you're too shy, which I know some of you are. But please, you know, do post your pictures. I'd love to see you making them. So that is my Souhariki, and I just love them. And thank you, Vikki, and thank you, Nanny Rahil, for sharing this recipe with us, because it's a real treasure. So don't forget to enter the competition to win yourself a copy of Now for Something Sweet. You just need to tag a friend and tell me why you want to. Oh, I didn't tell you when the competition is open till, which I should have told you. You need to comment before midnight tonight, okay? So I'm going to check at midnight tonight. No, I'm not really. But I'm going to check first thing in the morning at the comments and tell you who won in the morning. So good luck, all of you. Thank you all for being with me. It's been really fun, and today's been fun, but such a shame about the music. I'm very sorry about that. I'm not sorry to you. I'm just sorry that happened. But yeah, someone did say, and I think it was maybe Dorrit or Dorothy, I can't remember, that when you play the whole song, that's when the copyright police come into it, and I think that's right. Such a shame. So that's it from me. I will, of course, be back. We've got 3 more weeks in lockdown in Sydney, fingers crossed, and I am going to plan 3 more weeks of cooking, and next week we're doing things to take on a picnic, okay? Things to take on a picnic next week. I've got some fantastic things, and I'm really, really excited to share them with you. New things, exciting things, old things, delicious things, everything bit of everything next week. Have a great, great weekend. I'm going to post hopefully this afternoon or tomorrow morning about next week. If anyone wants to join virtually, because the ingredients packs are gone, the Michael Rantisi, Lisa Goldberg cooking class on Sunday, head to the Keppel Street Kitchen. We're doing a fantastic menu, really great. Stracciatella cheese salad, a chicken bastilla pie that Michael's making with a fennel salad on the side. I'm doing olive oil chocolate mousse and blood orange compote. And it's going to be a really beautiful dinner at 5:30 Sunday. And that costs $45 just for the virtual class. You get the recipes and you cook along with us. So thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Yes, there is a competition for the book. You'll have to go back and listen to the video. I have said it twice, and that's all. I'm going to be tough today, and I'm just going to say it twice, all right? As much as I want to tell you again, I'm not going to. Thank you all. It's been really, really fantastic being with you for these 50 sessions. I have loved every minute of it, and you're like my online family now. I hope that you feel the same about all of us together. Thank you all, and I'm going to say goodbye for now. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. Do everything you've got to do to stay safe at this point. Thank you so much, and happy cooking all. Bye. See ya.